Right, right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run. The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right.
They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a negative 65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that you're.
Then your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Find my feed here. What's up, family? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to the Black by the Man radio show. I'll be your host today, Brother Mike. And as usual, I am here with my partners in consciousness. To my left is my co-host.
She's gonna say cry.
Yeah, you like that, right? The lovely Miss Janice. How you doing today, Miss Janice?
Very well.
Very well. And our awesome team member, Miss Samantha Glam by Sam Dennis.
Hello.
How you doing today, Millennial?
All right, then.
That's why we have you here. You representing.
Yeah, I want to know what's going on because Miss Sam is looking mighty beautiful today.
Oh, stop it.
She is
no, keep going.
Glam by Sam. Looking glamorous today. That's what's up, Miss Dennis.
Dang.
That's how you represent for your brand, right?
Right.
That's what's up. I like it. Let me see if I can get a live feed here. What's going on with my live feed?
How was everybody's weekend? I was sick all weekend.
I'm under the weather myself. How about you?
I had a good weekend.
Yeah, good weekend. Okay. Well, at least one of us did.
A little bit too much fun.
A little bit too much?
Yeah.
Do tell.
It was my mom's birthday this weekend, so
okay. Nice.
50.
Awesome.
So we did a lot of partying, drinking.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Nothing wrong with that. That's what the birthdays are about, right?
Right.
Especially the big 50.
Right.
That's what you have to do.
50 years young, huh?
Looking 25.
I hear that. Yeah, that black don't crack. That black don't crack. I can't find my live feed here. Let me see what's going on a second here.
It was on. I said I did have it and I lost it.
Yeah, I don't have it yet. Facebook, what you doing, Timmy? Okay, so I'll keep here.
Okay.
So everybody had a good weekend, though, huh? Now, Miss Janice, you said you're a little under the weather?
Yeah, I was under the weather.
It's been sinuses for me. What's going on with you?
Same thing.
Same thing? See, there's something going on. They didn't put something in the air. Everybody's sinuses giving them problems.
It was severe enough to keep me home from work.
Right.
For a few days, so.
And get paid, huh?
Yeah.
Stay home and get paid. That's what's
always
up.
Nice.
It is. So bear with us a moment here, folks. I'm trying to get my live feed up here so I can send out some invites to all you beautiful people today. We're going to tune in with us. Let me see here.
So
Facebook ain't treating me
party
good
anywhere
today.
specific?
We went to this restaurant in Baltimore County on Bel Air Road, Skipjack's. Like a seafood restaurant.
Okay.
Excuse me a minute, ladies. Y'all hold it down.
Okay.
Super good.
Super good.
Super good.
Good food.
Good seafood.
Music, dancing, anything.
No, we
like that?
did dinner. Like my mom's best friend came. My sister came down, and then we all had dinner. And then when my dad went back to the house, and my dad did crabs, and we was all hanging out, drinking.
Oh, well, y'all had a blast. They kind of did that at my house this weekend too. I was under the weather, but they did the whole cookout thing, crabs, all of that.
And you ventured out for that?
I missed out.
You missed
out.
You didn't go?
No, it was actually at my house, but I was just sick. I just never got out of bed. The whole cookout thing, crabs.
Sometimes it gets like that, I guess.
But that's okay. I'll catch you the next one.
Right, Brother Mike is back in the building. Let me link back up here.
Are you back? Okay.
Caught you looking for the same thing. It's a new thing. Check out this submarine. Yeah, y'all know nothing about that.
I was gonna say, where's that from?
That's Chuck D. It's my hero. All right, let's send out some invites.
That would have been my first guess.
Let's send out some invites. That would have been your first guess?
Chuck D.
Public Enemy?
Yeah.
PE, baby. All right, so we're going to send out some invites, everyone. Invite you all to come hang out with us for a little while on the Black by the Man radio show.
Yes.
With your boy, Brother Mike, and my partners in consciousness. Not crime, Miss Dennis.
I know. First thing that comes to mind, though.
That's what I first thought.
So let's talk current events.
Current events.
What we got going on in racism today? I mean, current events today.
Well, before we get to all of that, 'cause, you know, we do have some of that going on. But before we get to all of that, the National Transportation Safety Board would like everybody to please stop this, in my feelings, Kiki challenge.
Oh, the Drake challenge. Why? Because they out there getting hit by cars.
I've seen a couple of them.
You saying?
Are they fake or are those real?
Like what?
Like
I don't know.
People getting hit.
I don't know.
One of them was fake.
But if you faking getting hit by a car, something's wrong with you already.
Yeah, one
We're
of
going
them
to bring that into your world.
One of them that said it was planned.
Okay.
But I did see a couple people out actually doing the challenges, though. Have y'all seen anybody doing it?
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen
like
people
drive by,
doing the
seen somebody do it.
Yes.
No, I haven't seen anybody.
Yes, no, I seen one person doing. I was actually leaving the show here and headed home and saw somebody like out doing
the challenge.
Yes, it was unreal. They actually stopped traffic, and it'd be a hot mess out there.
Dangerous.
So yeah, they need to stop.
I saw the winner of the challenge.
Who?
The white guy on Facebook that did the Kiki challenge with the cow walking on the side.
I did see that one.
You saw that one, right? Yeah, I think he's the winner.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, he pulls up alongside a cow that's walking, on the grass area, and he opens the door, and as the cow's walking, his head's bobbing up and down. Then he's playing the Kiki song,
I didn't see
walking
that one.
with him. Yeah,
So
we have a winner.
yeah, so I mean, at least if you're going to do it, stop the car, put the car in park.
Well, what's interesting about that is the guy who started the challenge off, he was just in a parking lot. Like, he wasn't ghost whipping.
Right.
He's just in a parking lot doing the dance, but everybody else turned it into ghost whipping.
You gotta take it up a notch.
Is that how that works?
Put your life on the line.
No way you should be stepping out the car and just automatically just sliding straight to the ground.
I'm still waiting on somebody to show me a picture of who the hell Kiki is. Kiki must be a bad chick.
Must be.
She must be a bad chick.
I haven't seen Kiki. I don't think we're going to see Kiki.
We ain't gonna see Kiki.
Yeah, it's just.
I want to see Kiki.
No.
Kiki, where you at?
Kiki?
We're gonna bring you on the BBD radio show, Kiki. Where you at?
I'm sure we have plenty of Kikis out there, but it's not going to be the one he's talking about. So.
They ain't gonna be the one.
Nah. So moving on.
The one he talking about, fresh out of his imagination, huh? What else we got going on? But before we even move on, now who was it that issued the statement?
The National Transportation Safety Board.
That's not good when you get their attention.
Yeah. So.
Because if you know how things work in this society, they start issuing stuff like that. They about to protect themselves when these people jump out here and get hit by cars and all that good stuff. Like, no, you're not suing nobody.
Right.
We already issued that statement.
Yeah, so that's already been.
Keep your hind parts in the car.
It's just common sense, isn't it?
Obviously not. No.
Well, like you said, it's Facebook. Got to step your game up, right? Common Sense and Facebook are not friends.
Not at all.
They're not friends.
How do y'all feel about Monique defending Roseanne Barr?
I saw a glimpse of that, but I didn't like really pay attention to it.
She said that it was, you know, Roseanne just made, you know, a huge mistake. But she said, you know, a lot of us say things, you know, we wish we can take back. But, you know, let's just not rule her system a racist yet.
Well, you know, see, the problem I have with statements like that is, first of all, where's your passion when it's going towards us? You get what I'm saying? Like, you don't have that same passion with defending us. Stop jumping out here defending these white people when they make racist statements, all because they did you a favor at some point in your career. Like, I understand, just don't say nothing.
Yeah,
you know, but stop jumping out here to defend them, because that's what they depend on. They depend on, when they make these type of statements and racist remarks, for the black people who they cool with to come forward and start smoothing things over for the other black people. Now, Monique then went from Netflix, you understand what I'm saying, to what you wanted us to not watch Netflix ever again in our life. But now you out here defending Roseanne, which just shows me Netflix must have gave you that money you was looking for. And now Netflix is on some comeback, like, yeah, now that we gave you that paper, we need you to go make a statement about the Roseanne situation.
Yeah, but even before she made the statement, do she know that this wasn't Roseanne's first mistake, though?
Right.
She called somebody an AP4, like...
She did?
Yes, this is not Roseanne's first racist remark. She's had some. And
it's none of them's first racist remark.
Racist remark. She's had that before as well. So hopefully, I hope Monique understands that while she's saying, you know, let's, you know. I'm just saying you can't go from being
passionate about Netflix because they didn't want to pay you a certain amount of money. So the Netflix situation was worthy of her causing a complete uproar, and it was really just about her paycheck. Roseanne then made a racial statement, and now you like, oh, well, let's give her a second chance. Come on, man. These people be killing me.
You're not here for it.
Nah.
Yeah, but she said Roseanne came through for her. Copy. She was doing her late night show.
Right. See, that's what I'm saying. It's always about their personal relationship. And if you remember, I stated on one of the previous shows before that according to Dr. Amos Wilson, who was a PhD in psychology, he said that is a critical error that we as black people make. We mix our judgment up with our personal relationship that we have with white people versus what white people as a community of people do to black people as a community of people. Black people like to shy away from who these people are because of they like Dave, or they cool with Kathy, you know, and there's no problem there. But just understand that person doesn't represent the majority of what these people come at us with.
I was going to say,
it's an error in judgment.
Isn't that one of the biggest reasons why we can't move forward? Because we're always thinking about the one who did something nice or helpful.
Right. You start talking about the reality of situations, first thing we do is think of the kindest white people in the world that we ever met. Right. Ridiculous. But anyway, we're going on our first break. Stay with us. Black by the Man Radio Show. We'll be back. Ridiculous. Well, you wanted us to go hard. Right. Forgive Roseanne. It's ridiculous. These people are ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? It's amazing what a paycheck can do.
The moment my son saw Redwood Church is the moment I knew that for him,
you can't even see the top of that thing.
Even the sky has no limit.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. Your moment is out there. Find it at discovertheforest.org.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council. Be Exposed Radio. it's a family affair if you want to look at it that way.
It is. I totally agree, and I believe I believe that this wisdom on the wall is going to be a movement, and that's what I believe we are doing. Is we're creating a movement where people essentially, even after we've presented in these workshops, then they'll be inspired to sort of document some of the things that they've gone through and empower somebody else. So it'll be like a chain effect. So they'll see that, you know, we were just 3 women who have gone through various things and experiences in our lives, and we just took the opportunity to sit down, put it in a book, and then it'll be a movement, and then other women will be inspired to do the same thing. Let me tell you, we are better together. We are so much better together, family. I'm telling you, when we band together, put our resources and our experiences together, we can create a movement, and that's what it's about, inspiring people to do more than what they may currently see of their own lives, that they can do so much more. So yeah,
you are exactly right.
Be Inspired Radio Show. Tune in every Wednesday from 7 to 9 p.m.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on 2 things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're now listening to BeExposedRadio.com. Check out this fire flashback.
Within our community, we got to look at ourselves and love and support each other. However, when we bring color into the perspective, we are no longer looking at each other as equals. We are dividing ourselves even more so than what society divides us. We're already divided with inequality, not unequality, but inequality within a system that is meant to keep us down. Here we are yet again doing things that are detrimental to our survival and sustaining of a fruitful living. We're causing more mental health issues upon ourselves in our own society and our own communities by talking about the difference in complexion, even when it gets down to the point where we discriminate upon each other. I've often felt that I have been discriminated against, even with my own people, when it comes to me going into a business that is black owned and black operated, and I get up service and then I never want to return and into that establishment because the service was so up. I support those who support me. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are. If you are a peaceful person, peaceful, loving person who believes in equality, I will love and support you with the same effort. However, being black and supporting black and acknowledging that I love the...
Make sure you check out McLean's Couch every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the Black by the Man radio show. So, we're going over current events right now. What else we got going on, and then we'll get into the show.
All right, well, something more positive. We have LeBron James announce his plan to open his new public school in his hometown.
I saw that this morning.
Slide me my bell, please.
There you go.
Say that current event again, please.
LeBron James announced his plan to open his new public school in his hometown.
2 points for LeBron.
Right.
LeBron been holding it down. We're going to revisit that LeBron situation in the show because we get to a point where we discuss celebrities and things like that.
It's gonna,
so that's what's up. Go LeBron.
It's going to open this fall in 2018.
2018? Where's it going to be at?
What's this hometown? Akron, Ohio.
Okay, nice. Hopefully he has made some moves to get some changes in the curriculum. Because the only issue about when they let you open up a school is they still make you push their curriculum.
And speaking of that, they are. It is going to be under the the public school curriculum there.
Boo.
But he is planning to make it better with the STEM program there.
Okay.
So
he's pretty much doing everything within his means without them putting handcuffs on him.
So it's going to have the science, technology,
in order to get this popping. Yeah, okay.
And
All right.
mathematics program there for the kids.
Okay,
I think
very
it's
nice.
3rd and 4th grades is the 2 that's going.
Yeah, it's going to start with that. But hopefully by like 2019, he's going to add 1st and 2nd grade classes. And by 2022, he's going to have 1st through 8th grade classes.
Oh, sweet. LeBron never ceases to amaze. You know, never ceases to amaze. That's what's up. He's a good representative.
And the school is for the kids that's struggling, the ones that's struggling the most.
Sure, right.
Yeah, he want to come after those.
Struggling with someone else's curriculum that wasn't designed for them, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, anything else we got in current events? That's pretty much it.
It's pretty much.
Just racism and
But we always talk about that.
the usual suspects. All right, so let's talk about today's show. So on today's show, we're going to be discussing role model development for African American males.
Before we move on with that, I just wanted to make one more comment. You notice how like every show we do have racism,
right?
But you notice how every show too we always have somebody within our race doing something positive,
right?
As well,
right? Very good. And we thank you for that, Miss Janice.
Even through all of this, we still finding ways.
Find a way to say something positive, right? Yeah, because there's so much negativity out here.
But you notice how every show too, we always have, somebody within our race doing something positive.
Right.
We're still doing positive.
Right. Good.
I'm talking
and we
about,
thank you for that, Miss Janice.
Through all of this, we still finding ways.
Find a way to say something positive, right? Yeah, because there's so much negativity out here. Exactly. Yep.
Positive, we always have, somebody within our race doing something positive.
Sweet. That's how we do it here at the BBD Radio Show. And we thank you for that, right?
Through all of this, we still.
All right, so let's get into this. So role model development in African American males. Okay, so I had two other brothers that were going to sit in with us today, but they weren't able to make it. So I guess I'm going to take the brunt of this, and you ladies can help me out, But I wanted to have a couple other black males here, to discuss this role model development in African American males. So before we even get into the actual info today, but let me ask this. So I guess as mothers, do you ladies think we even have, black role models, a couple other black children? Now, of course, we can say LeBron. LeBron won, right?
That's a good question.
So before we even get into,
I do believe that we do have black role models. I just think they're not out in the open as they can be.
Okay.
I think with the black role models that we do have, I don't think they have enough dollar signs behind their backs to be taken seriously.
Okay.
So, but I do think we have them. I just think, unless the people, unless they see a certain lifestyle, people really don't want to.
Right. Okay.
But I do believe we have them.
What about you, Miss Dennis? Do you believe we have black role models?
Yes, but only in the sense that a lot of them are just celebrities. And a lot of them aren't like people in the communities that these young kids have access to.
Right.
So, I mean, when you're forced to look to a celebrity, it's like you don't have that one-on-one kind of relationship that I think that they need. So.
Okay.
And even what I meant by mine is like, we have a lot of black fathers out here, role models, but saying what Samantha just said, like the kids don't want to listen to their dads. They rather pay more attention to celebrities. They see them making money and, in a sense doing, I don't know, something they may feel like they want to do.
Okay.
And they're more or less, looking up that direction.
Okay, we got a comment from my man Nate. So Nate says it's interesting how we always look for celebrities as role models. And I agree with that, and that's why I don't think we do have them. Because the first thing that comes to our mind is someone in the entertainment field, and the reality is that's a role model, in a sense, but only when you're having access to seeing them on television, what they're doing. And when you're seeing them at that time, they're doing their job. You know, so we all are role models at our job. You get what I mean? They're doing their job.
That's more likely what they're doing, their jobs.
All right, so I found a good PDF file written by Smith College, guy named Christian Edward Gale. So let's read this a little bit. So it says, African American teens, often surrounded by poverty in their communities, are particularly vulnerable to this disadvantaged status. By the time these adolescents reach 9th grade, they are already developmentally 2 years behind their counterparts. Gang violence, crime, delinquency, drugs, and the lack of male role models in their lives make it difficult to break the cycle of poverty in which they are trapped. Many students do not stay in school past the 10th grade, at which point they either end up on the streets, in jail, or on the way to other such perils. As a result, internalized feelings of hopelessness often become embedded as a part of their identities. Interesting, right? So evidently during this study, they feel that there's a lack of black role models as well. And then living in certain communities, which a lot of us come from, you know, they're not actually even seeing positive role models. How much do you guys think that plays a part in a young adolescence, teenager, you know, black male?
Major part.
Major part.
Major.
Tell me why.
Because if you're coming up in an area of poverty, you're gonna see whoever's doing better than you. You're gonna aspire to do that, whether you're doing the right or wrong things. You just see them as, well, he's making a lot of money, let me do what he does.
Right.
So that could be a good or a bad thing, because if he's selling drugs, then that's what you're going to do to get to his level. So
that's going to be his role model.
That's going to be his role model.
Interesting. And for the audience out there today, if you guys think we have black male role models for the young adolescents, or if you don't think we do, participate with us, type in, we'll read your comments, let us know what you think. And how you feel about it, experiences you've had with it, so forth and so on. So you're saying they're surrounded by males that might not be the best role models,
right?
But at the same time, they're going to look up to it. Okay. What about you, Miss Janice?
I just think the role models, they're just very few and in between. But I do think that the kids are going to tend to do more of what Samantha was talking about, versus if you look at Ricky's dad and the way Ricky's dad is teaching Ricky the correct way, I think they're gonna tend to do more because it's more of that same.
That we would like them to have access to, right? As a mother, say, how do you kind of try to prevent your child from seeing someone in the community, whether it's the drug dealer, whether it's just the street cat, you know, or the gang member? How do you kind of prevent them from looking at that as their role model? Because psychologically, it seems that they're going to find something to view as their role model, whether they realize or subconsciously. So what can we do to like prevent them from looking at the wrong ones if you're not providing them with the right one?
Yeah, see, that's the difficult part.
How do you do that?
With that, but you would have to like put them in some type of mentoring program. Like you really would have to do that, because that's the hard part right there.
Well, you know, a lot of us don't have access to that. So let's say you don't have access to that. What could you do as a parent? It's a tough question, right?
It's very tough.
It is.
Especially
and I don't have the answer. That's why I'm putting it out there. You know, I have ideals and I'll share those. But as mothers, I was just curious, you know, if you have boys, you know, I don't know if y'all have boys. Well, I know you do, right? You have a little girl, right? Okay, so let's pretend if you had a little boy, you know.
That's a tough one, especially being a single parent. Like you can't be with your child 24/7 to watch what they're doing and who they're hanging around with.
And with the moms, like some of us think, you know, if we put them in some type of sport, like they can get the mentoring that they need there, which a lot of times
This is my house, my rules, and she knew she was protecting me. But it's like today, a lot of the parents, they care when their kids are upset. And I mean, I don't.
I don't.
You know what I mean? I don't, but you get what I'm saying. So because of that, and then there's also, it's like the parents are under peer pressure now because like everybody else's child is doing it. So that's how your child's going to come to you. Well, Mom, why can't I go? You know what I mean? Everybody else is going. You know what I mean? They're doing this, they're doing that. Why can't I go to the concert? Why can't I do this, do that? So, you know, like, are we at a point where we actually have to reevaluate, you know, letting your child participate in everything just because all the other black children are doing it? Because does that make it right? Doesn't make it right.
We're definitely at a point where we need to reevaluate that because...
You think so?
That is happening a lot. And I think some parents was, you know, doing it just because they was trying to make up for, you know, the little things they felt that their child was lacking.
Right.
You know, like their father wasn't there or they was lacking something, and this is a way of making, you know, the child not feel bad. Right. But, you know, parents have to get past that.
Yeah, I think that's a good statement though. I think that does happen. You have a lot of single mothers, and because the child doesn't have a father, I don't know if the mother feels like guilt behind that.
She got to compensate for
right, that she's going to try to compensate for what the father's not going to be there to do. And usually the end game of that is she's basically going to make sure the child gets everything they want. So he's getting them Jordans, he's getting that Xbox, you know, just to show you can still have all these things even though it's just me. You know, because I never liked the statement when I heard black women say, oh, I'm his mother and his father. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're his mother, right? Now, I understand you may feel that you playing the role of a father financially, you know what I mean, and being there for that little boo-boo on his knee when he fell, but you're not the father. You're not a substitute for it.
And I think that's part of what the problem is, you know, by us doing that, like getting them the PlayStation, the Jordans, and everything. See, that mixes them up with this role model thing as they're coming up, and that's why they tend to look at the celebrities and, you know, the things where they can get, you know, all those material things from as far as the role model or whatever, because this is how they're being brought up versus they need to learn, like,
if they didn't value those things, then it wouldn't be such a big deal.
So they are made to start earning, you know, some.
So let's read a comment here. This is from Mr. Charles Simmons. Chuck Nice, what's up, brother? So Charles says, I'm a good role model for my grandson. I get up and go to work every day, and I tell my grandson, if you want anything, you have to work for it. And there's nothing wrong with working. I tell him it's 24 hours in a day, and you should be able to work 8. True. Good comment, brother. Good comment. So yeah, so that's a start. You know what I mean? Making that child see and understand, young black male, look, you have to work in life, you know? Let's look at, take when they do want those Jordans. You know, like, I don't think we making our children understand the value of $1 when I'm willing to go out and pay $300 for a pair of sneakers and you 13 years old. Like, what is that teaching my child? That child has no concept of money.
They don't. They're
not learning any concept of money because you're just giving them things, right? And like I said, it could be a part of trying to make up when you deal with single mothers. But the reality is, if you're going to take it to that extreme, you know, which I don't recommend that, you know, because you kind of setting your child up for failure. But like, they have to earn it. Like, I don't think we're making these young boys earn anything. You know, we're just letting them get whatever they want and just happy he ain't in jail. You know, like, well, he ain't in jail, so I bought the Jordans for him. It's like, come on, we got to do better than that.
And that's how I believe the role models, like the comment you just read, that's why I believe that those role models are getting lost, because even when he say, like, you know, it's 24 hours in a day, what's wrong with working 8 of them? Like, the kids today don't want to hear that. Like, they want their money a faster way. 8 hours is too long.
It's too long for them, right?
You have to remember, they grew up getting this. They never worked for it. So they don't know nothing about working for nothing. So
True.
8 hours in a day, that's a little bit too long for them.
Yeah, they definitely not used to that.
So that's another reason why they look at all this celebrity life as a faster route. They look at them as role models first before, you know, they look at the 9 to 5 workers.
Right, because the celebrity is still having that lifestyle that they kind of had coming through elementary, middle school, where they staying fresh with the new sneakers.
They watching them go play a 2-hour game too. Like they watching them play for 2 hours a game, and their job is done for the day. And
right.
Watching them get those big paychecks from it too.
True.
With the football, with basketball, as far as actors, they're not to them. See them working every day 9 to 5, even though a lot of those actors do, but they see what's on TV. They don't see behind closed doors how long these actors been actually working.
True, they're not seeing the effort.
Yeah,
they're seeing results. Okay, so let's read another comment. This is from Miss Sharon Nixon. Big up to the fashion umbrella. She says, being a single mother who raised 3 grown men, I never tried to take their father's place, but I did instill in them how to treat a woman and what good work life ethics look like. Nice. Yeah. See, that I believe that's what has to be done, and part of doing that is you're going to have to do things that your children's not going to like. Like your kids are going to be mad when you say, no, you're not going to the Drake concert. You got 3 E's on your report card.
That's what my mom always used to say.
You understand what I mean?
Little friends on the street.
That's right.
Say, I don't care if you're mad at me.
I think the biggest thing to all of that is you're going to have to be able to handle when your kids get upset with you. Like that's hard. That's difficult.
All you got to do is not care. All you gotta do is not care. Like I just think it's too much caring going on. Parents care today when their kids are mad at them.
They do.
Like, man, I wish my mother would have let us walk around the house with an attitude, like we mad about something. She'd have been like, you ain't even old enough to be mad.
Right.
You got nothing going on in your life to be mad about. So I think part of those restrictions is us going to do things, to keep these young black males on the right path and have them not wanting to just follow, like you said, with the celebrities, what they're seeing on social media, so forth and so on. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to be honest with you. If I caught my child ghost whipping my car, dancing to some Kiki bullshit, getting your ass whipped when you get old. I know that wasn't you. I just saw that video in my car. Nobody driving the car. Like it's insanity. It's insanity.
Your car just down the road.
It's insanity. They tripping.
But see, they don't know nothing about that work you put in for that car.
Right. They don't have an understanding of what goes into that.
Because they're used to getting everything and they're not working for nothing. These PlayStation 4s, them Jordans, like they're getting it and they're not working for anything.
They're not earning it.
So,
all right, so the article continues to say a strong racial identity that is reinforced by exposure to role models of their own ethnicity helps adolescent black males manage the many stresses and conflicts that may occur during the adolescence transitional period. The growing number of sports celebrities and their influence on young men, both positive and negative, needs to be examined so as to determine how they might affect the attitudes and behaviors of African American adolescent males today. So there we go. So even, Smith College through this article was saying we have to evaluate how they're looking at these celebrities. Like it's kind of a double-edged sword because it's like when you look at somebody like LeBron, you don't mind your child looking up to LeBron when LeBron's doing a lot of these positive things. But you also need to somehow keep them in touch with reality that LeBron's a special case. He's a rare breed. You know what I mean? He's a shining star. That's why he's LeBron James. So that's not the average lifestyle. Average lifestyle, they're going to need to see that from, like my man Charles said, working class black men who can teach them some things about life.
Right, and they have to see that, and they don't know how. Like you were saying, they have no idea how LeBron mom raised him.
True.
They don't know how she started. He could have been 3 years old in a book or whatever. Like not on social media like it is now. It's tough now.
I've seen they have a documentary out there about LeBron. I don't know if you ever seen that, but he definitely had a mother that understood he had a awesome chance at being who he is today. He was that special child. Like if LeBron would have been my son, I would have went hard on basketball too, because he was a phenomenon. You know what I mean? But that's what I mean. That's a rare breed. The chances are your child is not that phenomenon.
Oh, don't tell me.
No, that's reality. That's reality. See, now listen. Now you hear what she just said? See, for me, that's a problem with millennials. See, y'all don't like hearing reality. She said, no, don't tell your child that. That is reality. The reality is that your child has a better chance statistically of becoming an astronaut and going to the moon than they do at becoming a professional sports player.
Well,
and you're saying don't tell them that.
I'm not just referring to being a celebrity or an athlete, but you can't sit here and say that you can't tell your child that they're not great enough to achieve them kind of
That's
things.
not what I said.
But I'm saying, when you say, what do you say? Tell your child that they're not that good, or
no, that LeBron was a special case. Okay, and your child probably is not that case.
Okay, I understand that.
You got to prepare your child for reality. Go for it. But understand that the person that you idolizing was one in a million.
Yeah.
So your child needs to be prepared for when they find out they might not be that one in a million. You get what I'm saying? See, that's the difference between a millennial and the X generation.
But I thought you were saying, like, you can't tell your child that they're going to be great. It's like, well, isn't that defeating the purpose of having that?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying keep your child in touch with reality. You know how many black people out here got their kids thinking that they're going to become professional athletes because they was nice in rec, they was nice in high school, then they went to college and did good, and nobody drafted them. And that's all you prepared your child for.
Yeah.
Now what? He got a degree in physical education. You know, this is the making of a gym teacher that you had thinking was going to be a superstar. You understand me? And now you got a gym teacher who's mad that they're a gym teacher. And I'm not knocking gym teachers. I'm just saying that's like a typical path that ends up happening.
Yeah, I understand what both you guys are saying.
Right.
Yeah, you do have to, when your child is young, you can look at your child and find their true talents and know what their true talents is, and maybe help them, lean more toward that way. But we have some parents that can see that child's true talent, and some kids might be like, no, Mom, I want to play the violin. They be like, what? You're not playing the violin? You're going to be a basketball star. So you have to try to, lean your child more toward what they feel like they want to do, and that's going to help them bring out the best down.
So let's read some comments.
Be LeBron, but they'd be, that special gym teacher.
Special gym teacher. I'm just saying. Copy. I'm not trying to ruin anybody's dreams. I'm just staying in touch with reality. The reality is most don't make it. So Terry Smoke says, find out what your child's likes and dislikes are. Help encourage them to do right by example and know what your limitations are. Be firm but loving. That's a great comment. I like that. Okay, so we're going to take another break. Stay with us, Black by the Man Radio Show. We are talking role model development for African American males.
Yes, Mom. I wanted to talk to you about something and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew.
Wait.
Mom, what? Huh?
What? Hold
What'd you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join me at bookpeopleunite.org, because reading is fundamental. A public service announcement brought to you by Reading is Fundamental, Library of Congress, and the Ad Council.
Join the Just a Bit Outside crew every Monday, 8 to 10 p.m. on BeExposedRadio.com.
You want to start off?
I think I'll get it out of the way on a who's not.
Okay, do it.
The Orioles.
Right.
They got swept by the Royals. They lost 4 in a row, and the last 5 games have all been decided by 1 run. The game before, or the last game that they lost before the Royals was the Nationals, and it was Weeders, of course, won with a home run.
Hit the home run.
Right.
They were going into that National series. It seemed like they were doing so well, and they just crapped out. They got that game postponed, so who knows when they're going to replay that or play that game. That's my first not for the night.
Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and weigh in on my who's not, and I'm going to talk about the San Diego Padres.
The Padres. That's okay. You just took my answer.
They're in last place in the NL West. They've lost 8 of their last 10. Their run differential is a negative 65, which is just horrible. So when you have well, let me just talk about run differential a little bit. It's kind of like the
how much you're winning or losing your games by, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. It's like the margin of victory, kind of.
Right.
So when you're in a negative number, that means that you're.
Then your average game you're losing
by a whole lot.
Right.
I mean, a number like negative 65, this early in the season is pretty rough.
That's horrible.
The pitching numbers pretty much support this stat right here. I mean, the team ERA is 4.70, which is 26th in the league. They have 126 walks allowed. They acquired Jared Weaver in the offseason, and he really has not panned out. He's off to one of the worst starts in any of the pitchers in 2017. He's 0-4 with a 6.05 ERA. In May alone, he already has 12.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes the cover, sometimes it's the title.
All right, so welcome back, everybody, to the Black Bottom Man Radio Show. We are talking role model development for African-American males. So let's read the other comments. This is from Daryl Robinson. Big homie, what's up, Daryl? So Daryl says, we also have to begin teaching our children to be creative rather than limited by environment or circumstances, especially as the state programs continue to be removed from our conditions. Sometimes, somewhere, we're going to have to take the responsibility to seek out role models and activities that are going to steer them in the right direction. I agree. More action on our behalf, and not allowing the environment and circumstances. Like everybody's child cannot be focused on sports. And sports is a high focus, among our people. It's a high focus. I mean, by the time a little boy turns 7 years old, he's already playing football. He's already out there with bones that have not been physically developed and that are still soft. And he's slamming his head up against other kids with those soft bones. And I'm just going to leave that right there. Talk to your doctor. It might not be the smartest move. So anyway, yeah, so we're not getting any type of exposure to the children. Like, what about the child that loves science? Who does he look to for that? LeBron can't help him with that. Who does he look to? Right. Where's the role model for that? And he wants to be a cartoonist. Who does he look to? Where are the black people? Where he can look up and say, I want to be like this guy. I want to be a gamer. I want to be a gamer. You get what I mean? And I think this goes along the lines of what you're saying. Tapping into the creativity. There's nothing creative about sports. It's very simple. Average black child You know,
can't make no money off of playing the violin or
right.
You can, but it's
yes,
not,
you can.
You know,
Never know what it'll lead to. But we don't tap into that. We don't say I'm gonna get you to take some piano lessons. I'm gonna get you to take some violin lessons, some singing lessons. I got a creative art drawing class I want to sign you up for. No, for many of us, it's like, oh, football season is starting. Let me get him in football. And like I said, I get it if that's your child built for that, but it doesn't seem like it's working for us the way that it should.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of children growing up with back problems and arthritis from playing football since they've been 7 years old. You know what I mean? You 19 now, you've been playing cracking heads since you've been 7. And then you wonder why you feel like an old man in the morning. And saying this is parents. You know what I mean? This is parents. You know, this is us not protecting our children properly and thinking everybody's not built to play football and basketball and baseball. Some of them are brains. You know, they're more brains. But it doesn't seem like that's being encouraged in the black males.
But that's just like I said, when I said earlier, like, there are role models out here for these kids who do encourages those things. But, like you said, too, there are a lot of parents that go against that, too. Because even at school, let's take school, for instance. Even at school, when a teacher or a coach may tell the child, like, I don't think your talent is basketball. I think you should be probably doing more. Like, you're creative in drawing. They go home and tell their parents that.
The parents get mad, don't
think
they?
their parents gonna say?
They're not feeling that?
What?
Sad. That is
They be
sad.
up there talking to that coach like, how you gonna tell me what my child is good at?
Right.
Like, I'm around my child 24/7. You get them when they come to school. They playing football.
Are we even tapping into asking our children what they like?
So that's when I say I think role models get lost because they're not being heard. Unless if that child come home and be like, yeah, this $1 million man who said that. They listen to him. Like, okay, well he might be on to something, son. I mean,
in the black community, one of the issues is even if the child doesn't have the black role model within their home, they're also not seeing it within their community. It almost ain't in nobody's home. You get where I'm coming from? So how much of a role does that play? So you don't have the daddy in your house. Someone still has the daddy. Like, it doesn't seem like that even exists anymore. And if it does, are black mothers willing to let that child, say for instance, when I was young, we had people in the neighborhood who just were like street mechanics. They knew how to fix stuff. You understand what I mean? And we would literally, you know, stand there as kids, and the men would gather up 2, 3 of them, they looking in the car, fixing stuff. And when they would see us standing there, they would pull us over. You know, come here, let me show you something. You know what the dipstick is? You know, we're like, no, all right, well, this is the dipstick. This is how you check the oil on the vehicle. Is that still happening? Because even that gave us a glimpse of, you know, working class black men who were being positive role models. Because usually that person in the neighborhood, a lot of people use them. You know, big up to Jeff Smothers, HDG, you know, Grace Mall, BV for life. So Jeff was one of ours. You know, everybody knew you could go to Jeff, get your brakes fixed, Jeff could check the transmission, you know, change the oil, so forth and so on. And we learned stuff sitting there with Jeff. And then here's his friends, which could be my uncles or whatever. They're all standing around talking about things. And it influenced us. By the time I was 16 and got my first car, I knew how to change oil. Like, my mother didn't teach me that. I learned that from Jeff and, you know, and other people, and, you know, and whatever my father taught me, so forth and so on. You know, like, does that even exist anymore? And if so, do the kids even have an interest in it? Are they even willing to come over there?
I think they would if somebody would invite them over to actually learn them things. I think it's just that they don't see it, so it's not something that they're going to take an interest in.
Okay, all right.
And I think it still exists. I just think it's just very few now. Instead of it being one in every neighborhood or 2 in every neighborhood now, I think it's just like 1 in every county. They're just it's very few.
If that's true, that's bad. That's pretty bad. You know?
That's just.
But you get what I'm saying? That was a part of the community environment. You get what I'm saying? You know, your mother would send you to go get somebody. You know, go down the street, you know, and get Mr. Richard. and ask him, can he come up here and look at this furnace because it ain't working properly. You know, Mr. Richard, come up there, take a look at it. Those were positive role models for us, you know, even though they weren't doing anything spectacular, you know, sports-wise, anything like that, but we were watching men be men.
But there's no sense of community anymore for them things to really happen anymore. Not that I've seen.
Okay. Okay.
And the ones that still, you know, that's a role model. Like, I guess they probably a little frustrated now. They just not out in the open as they used to be.
Okay.
They being shot down. Like you said, are kids even interested in it?
I don't think kids are even interested in that anymore. You know what I mean? Other than the kid who wants to be a mechanic. You know, like there was a time when trades got a lot of respect.
Right.
You know, if you did a trade, you know, if you was a barber, a mechanic, a plumber, you know, some type of trade, HVAC. And then that kind of faded away with the college thing, right? Everybody wanted to do college. And now college isn't working out for everybody. So now trades are kind of making a comeback. Because the thing with a trade is you have the opportunity to get a license in something, which also offers you the opportunity to become an independent contractor and maybe start your own business. You get what I mean? So trades were valuable. But yeah, we had men in the neighborhood that we could look up to. And even though, you know, they drank beers, you know, after they got off work, but it was after they got off work.
Right.
You know what I mean? They went to work for the day, you know, so we got to see that. And I don't know if that still exists. And even if it did, are the kids interested? Because they're being so bombarded, black males in particular. You know, social media puts a lot of pressure on our children, you know, especially young black males. You know, they need to be on there dancing or fighting, or instead of being, you know, doing things of that of these type of little challenges, so forth and so on. But you know, you never see one on there putting up a how to change the oil video, or you get what I'm saying? You know, things of that nature.
Man, I sure wish it still exists. I sure hope it's still out there.
I'm sure it is somewhere, but evidently it's not dominant, or at a minimum, it's not having the effect that we like it to have, you know, but
it's definitely not having the effect that we would like it to have. 'Cause,
right.
You know, our kids are really struggling right now, and they can really use that.
True. So let's read about conceptualization. The fact that African American teens are surrounded by poverty in their communities causes them to feel that they are second-rate citizens and there will never be anything better in their lives. These internalized feelings then become embedded as a part of their identity. All right, so surrounded by poverty in their communities is having an effect in making them feel like second-rate citizens. True? True?
I can see how that's true. I can agree with that.
How could we approach that to stimulate conversation to make changes on that? Other than the BBD radio show, which we doing right now. Well, you know, other than that, it's my little plug. What can we do to stimulate conversations about this? You know, making your child understand, I know what you see every day you walk out the door, but don't let this influence you to make you believe that this is all that you're worthy of.
Right.
You get what I mean?
Yeah, and it's still difficult. I mean, it's still difficult when you're telling the child that every day and they still walking outside.
Right, because you tell them one thing and they see a whole other thing.
And go see.
So you may have to literally point them in a different direction.
Yeah.
You know, get them involved in things. Here's a thought, right? What if we put forth the effort to get our children involved in things that would give them more positive outcome? You know, the way we do with getting them involved in sports. Because we go hard at getting them involved in sports. Like, a lot of us live below the poverty line. But everybody always seems to have enough money to get them kids in them sports.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Get all them uniforms and outfits and jerseys. And there's the parents out there with their little jerseys on and all that. You get what I'm saying? And again, I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying I see a heavy focus on it with no results. I don't understand the heavy focus with such drastically small results.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, because it is all good, you know, when they're 7 through 13 doing this, and it's wonderful, and it's all smiles or whatever. But when that 13-year-old becomes an 18-year-old, you know, life changes for them.
Right, when they become a young man and get into this world, and his real skill set just deals with sports.
So instead of, you know, instead of not preparing them for when they reach this 18, you're preparing them, you know, I understand what you're saying, to have fun now and play the sports now, and
right.
You know, it's all a dream, but what happens when you wake up?
Where's the life skills at? You know, are we providing life skills to these young black males? And I say that as a black male, you know what I mean? So I'm saying that to my generation because I feel that my generation has dropped the ball, you know? So I apologize to the adolescents out here because I'm of an age where we dropped the ball on this, and the ball wasn't dropped by our parents because our parents exposed us to this, even if you didn't have that black father in the house. But we were still exposed to other black men. But something went wrong with my generation because, you know, I'm in my 40s. So, you know, these millennials are our children, and they don't have the skill sets that we had. So somewhere along the line, we dropped the ball and did not give them the same tough love that our parents gave us. And it kind of made them a little soft to the real world.
And that's what happened, that tough love. We took that tough love.
We took that tough love away.
We did.
That bullshit. That bullshit that we used to say when we was young, right? When our parents would get mad at us, we'd be like, I ain't never doing that with my kids. Like, we literally did that shit. We literally didn't do that with our kids, and it kind of messed some shit up.
But, you know, it was so much, you know, our fault because, you know, even with the kids, like, and this a whole nother show. We probably did one before, but it's still a whole nother show. It was, you know, we went to being so competitive with each other that we was even competitive with the kids. Like, we did all of that. So, like, I'm putting my child in football. It's like, well, I'm putting my child in football. Like, it was all about that. Like,
yeah. Wrong type of competitive.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, I think Generation X, I think we dropped the ball somewhere.
So we did drop the ball.
Somewhere along the line, we dropped the ball. You know, so like I said, I apologize to the younger generation on behalf of Generation X. You know, it's not my personal situation. You know, like my son is actually okay. I'm not bragging, but at this point, he's 21 years old. He got a job. He's a clean record. He's been in jail. He's damn sure enough ain't a gangster. But I'm not taking away from still our part. You understand what I mean? As you know, as parents with these, you know, millennials. Because I think that tough love was taken away. I think it was taken away. You know, we started caring too much about their feelings, and I think as a community of people, we don't like telling our kids no. We don't. Our parents didn't have no problem with it. They tell you no in a heartbeat. You know, like I remember one time having a fallout with my mother, and I was on there, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? They called my grandmother up. She's like, can I come stay with you? She was like, no. Straight like that. You know what I mean? Just a straight no. You know, no, you're not. You know, evidently you're up in your mother's house being disrespectful, and you think you're going to come run into here. Like, no. And that was just that tough love they gave. You're not coming here. You know, simple as that. And I don't think we do that. You know what I mean? Like, these young folks are really, you know, not prepared for the real world. You know what I mean? The feelings get hurt very easily. Yeah, the entitlement, you know. I was sparing you of that word since you were millennial, but you went on and said it. Yeah, and it is a sense of entitlement that seems to be going on. You know, this whole thing of respect. Like these kids today, they look an adult in the face and say, well, you need to give me respect before I give you respect. You gotta earn it. Yeah, they see it that way. We never saw it that way. We gave them respect because they were elders, you understand what I mean? And they knew our life enough. And we knew they didn't owe us no respect. But like the youngers today, they feel the adults owe them some respect. I don't know why. They've done nothing in this society. I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know where they even get that from. You need to show me respect. For what? Like, what have you done? You know, like, I don't get it. But somewhere along the line, we must have dropped the ball. Especially as the men. So what's going on with these men not teaching these children now?
If you went through it and you got that encouragement and that mentorship from whoever the person was, how did you disconnect from that memory?
How'd you not pass that down? You know, and again, I know there's a lot of black men out there that take care of children. You know, it ain't doing what they're supposed to do. And like I said, to the black mothers that have to deal with that as a black man, I apologize to you on behalf of black men, because a black mother shouldn't have to deal with that. You know, if you're gonna go out here and have these children, take care of these children. You know, take care of them. you're right. That is another show.
Every step of the way, too.
Right.
So you can't just,
Yeah, some of them, the mothers ain't let them because of whatever issue she got with him. Right, that's not cool.
It's been wars. You can't even imagine what we've done to these men. So.
Right. Okay, let's move on. It's very and police brutality. All right, so these kids are facing some things that they don't have the proper skills on how to deal with. You know, social, economic, and discrimination. And this is happening while they are developing their identity of who they are. So imagine what that's doing to their psychic. You're young, you're developing your identity of who you are, and you're surrounded by things that constantly tell you your identity is that you're a nobody, right? So that plays an effect too. What could we do, you know, with these young men to make them feel that don't let what you see on social media and the discrimination and what you hear in racist people say in regards to you as a young man? What could we do to encourage them on that? So they're not being so affected by it.
I say you have to start teaching them these things earlier. You can't wait till they get 18 now to tell them this.
Right. So this kind of goes back to what I've always focused on, which is we have to be educating our children. You cannot just let the school system educate your child. You know what I mean? You have a black child. A black child is going to face things in this society that other children, white children, you know what I mean, or other cultures are not going to face. You are the target. I made my son understand at a young age that you are the number one target. You are a young black male. There are literally people out here waiting for you to make one mistake so they can, you know, do everything in their power to ruin your life, ruin your reputation, give you a criminal record, so forth and so on. I think that's missing. You know, it's reality, but it's like some of us are scared to teach our children that. Your child, your black child, that black male needs to know that he's a target. You are a target for the police. You are a target for discrimination. You are a target for racist white women. Like, that's who they're scared of the most, is young black males, because they know that they're young lions and they don't want them growing up into being strong lions, you know, like the fathers are. So they want to kind of nip that in the bud, kind of break your spirit. You know what I mean? At an early age.
Break it early.
Break it early. Break your spirit at an early age.
Yeah, but a lot of people have to know it to teach it now. Like, you have to know it yourself in order to teach it.
So you don't think it's enough of us that know it?
No.
So you think there's parents that accept that as well? That you're limited?
Yes.
That's horrible. That's horrible. You know, because, and I'm sure it's truth in it.
I mean, I'm going to go by what I see.
Right, definitely.
So.
Yeah, and that's terrible. All right, it says all adolescents need good role models in their lives, but it is especially important for at-risk African-American males, who some consider to be an endangered species. Young children look to their primary caregivers as role models to understand the world around them. Since human behavior is learned through observational modeling, today's African-American leaders need to understand that they have the potential and responsibility of positively affecting these young black males. All right, so I want to go back. So I'm going to go back to where it says it's especially important for at-risk African-American males who some consider to be an endangered species. Have you guys ever heard that before, where black males are called endangered species? Never heard that. How about you?
Kind of, sort of.
Okay, I've definitely heard that many a times. And that is a perspective that a lot of so-called scholars take. And I've even had, you know, black people say to me, well, you know, young black males are an endangered species. And I get the point that they're making, but I don't think it's true. I think it's misinformation, because I see the truth as far as them saying they're a target, you know, like an endangered species. It's a target, right? But the reason why I don't think young black males are an endangered species is because endangered species are protected by the law. Right? Right? An endangered species is protected by the law. Black males are not protected by the law. So you're not an endangered species. You're just a victim.
Damn.
Yeah, you're just a victim. And they're out here being victimized, right? So let's talk about this. They're being victimized because of what? They're not receiving the proper education from us on the reality of this world. Mm-hmm. This is why your child does not know how to act when the police pulls him over. Because you did not tell him the reality of when the police pull you over and what the possible outcome can be. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All right, so let's tie this into this. Young children look to their primary caregivers as role models to understand the world around them. Okay, so you got young black males with no father, right? And this is saying they look to their primary caregivers, which in this case is going to be a black woman. He didn't have a father. Black women are very emotional, right? Mm-hmm. This young man is learning his interpersonal skills and how to deal with situations strictly from his mother. Black women are emotional. These kids get pulled over. The only way they know how to react is emotionally. And that's what gets them tased and killed, because there was no black man raising them to say, listen, don't do that. Mm-hmm. Don't react that way. Calm down. Let him say what he got to say, answer the question, so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. They're used to being up underneath black women who tend to not react that way. Mm-hmm. And that's why it's saying these children look to their primary caregivers as role models to understand the world around them. So the world that they've been surrounded by, as far as situations, has been through their mother, and she's emotional. So they don't even have the emotional stability that a young man should have. Instead, they have the emotional stability of a young man. What do you guys think about that?
It makes sense.
Make sense? Okay. Miss Janice, thoughts?
I just don't know.
Ding, 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 ding.
Don't know.
Hey, that's a real answer. That's a real answer. All right, so it says, since human behavior is learned through observational modeling, which further proves what I'm saying, today's African-American leaders need to understand that they have the potential and responsibility of positively affecting these young black males. African-American leaders, I don't think we have any.
What?
I don't. You think we have some?
No, I don't.
Copy. Now I know that kind of ruffles a lot of people's feathers when I say that.
You mean Jesse's not a leader?
No, I think Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton are Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have an appreciation for the things they attempt to do. I don't want to, down these brothers. But no, I don't see them as black leaders. We didn't elect them. You know what I mean? Your leaders have to be elected by you, not assigned to you through white supremacy. Okay, so we're going to take a break on that note. Stay with us. Black by the Man Radio Show. We'll be back. We are talking role model development. Young black males. Stay with us.
My name is Ruth Lucy. I'm a retired teacher. I'm 91 years old, and this is how I live united. I say retired, but not really. Once a week, I read books to children as part of United Way's education program. Reading to a child creates links between language and literacy. It creates a bond between grown-up and child. And believe it or not, it prepares them for a better academic future. Oh, we read about frogs and flies and pigs with wings, all sorts of juicy stuff. It's a joy to watch all those little faces. I figure I have the time and they have the need. And I've always believed that if we're not here to help each other, then what are we here for really? My name is Ruth Rusey. I help kids prepare to succeed in school. So I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
My name is Meera Batra. I have been in this country 32 years, and this is how I live united. America has always been the land of promise, and in my community, many families have come for a better life. Coming from another culture myself, I know the desire to become part of a community, to feel at home, and to gain the tools for our children and families to succeed. So I advocate for these families with United Way. United Way empowers them to look beyond their histories and to see what opportunities are available. We help them get involved with their kids' schools, network within the community, and when we do, we unite them. We make the community stronger. What I do is something I wish someone had done for me, and I am so grateful I am able to. My name is Meera Batra. I help families see opportunities and succeed. I don't just wear the shirt, I live it.
Give, advocate, volunteer, Live United. Go to liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Keyboard Cat, Hamilton the Pug, and Toast Meets World. These are some of the internet's most beloved pets. With millions of YouTube views, shares, Instagram likes, followers, and fans across the globe. But what do all these amazing pets have in common? Their stories.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback from Sunset Soul Radio.
All of us have to take personal account of.
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the BBD Radio Show. She's in here. We are talking about role model development and black males. So I want to read something here. Whoops. Okay, in a study, 44% of respondents reported that their role model was from within the nucleus of their family, usually a parent, sibling, or grandparent. 35% of the sample reported that they had no role models, and 19% stated that they had role models that were either athletic or entertainment figures. The African American males who chose themselves as their own role models were predominantly dark-skinned males. Interesting.
Wait, rewind that back?
The African American males who chose themselves as their own role models were predominantly dark-skinned males. It says research indicates that lighter-skinned African Americans are considered to be less disadvantaged as compared to darker-skinned blacks, as indicated by their higher level of education, greater income potential, and overall higher socioeconomic status. Now, see, that's new to you, ain't it?
Oh, man.
That's new to you. So tell me, what's your thoughts on that?
I didn't know you could be your own role model. That's what.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Made me ask for you to repeat that.
Okay, but what about the fact that that was predominantly from dark skinned?
That was interesting too.
Right. Let me tell you why that is. See, you're a millennial, right? So you don't know or see the things that we've seen, right? If you go back in the day, everybody on television was light skinned. So if they had a black person on television, news anchor, reporter, whatever, it was usually a light skinned person. You get what I'm saying? Like, we didn't get into seeing dark skinned people on TV till maybe like the past 20, 25 years. You get what I mean? So you can see how that would play a part with a dark-skinned person saying, they're not my role models. Right. You know what I mean? Because I can't relate to that. You know, they always letting the light-skinned people get the job, you know, get the position, so forth and so on. So I think that's what that is pointing at. I think that's what it's pointing at.
It makes so much sense.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like, it's powers to be that control that. Remember, that animosity that we have between us of being color struck. Right. That's what the older folks used to call it, color struck, where you got light skin against dark skin. Like, that was put in us through the whole Willie Lynch letter, you know what I mean, Jim Crow era, so forth and so on. You know, like, our grandparents grew up in a time where they knew if you were dark skinned, like, you had no shot at integrating into white society. You know, only the light-skinned ones had a shot at that. And that was because they were closer to looking like white people. So all that still trickles down into us to this day. I mean, I'll be on Facebook and see people's posts and they'll put team light skin, hashtag team light skin, hashtag team dark skin. So it still exists. It still exists.
So it makes sense. I mean, how would the darker people, why would they have a role model as a lighter person? Like, they don't understand their struggles.
Right.
Like,
right.
You can't relate to nothing I'm going through, so how you gonna be my role model?
Right.
I'm gonna look up to you. Like,
it makes a lot of sense though.
So the larger percentage, though, 44%, said the role model was within the family. Parents, siblings, so forth and so on. So that's good. But the question is, do those people know that they're being viewed as a role model?
Probably not.
You get what I mean? They don't always know that. You know what I mean? You're fortunate if you have an older brother who recognizes he's a role model in his younger brother's life. But I don't know how dominant that is. Because usually older brothers are just like, man, get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're really not that nurturing.
Right, but true. But you have to remember, back in the day, you know, a lot of kids would have looked up to their brother or sisters as role models. Because you have to remember, back in the day, the parents made the older sibling take the baby sibling with them. Like,
they did.
Oh, you're not. Oh, well, you're not going.
Right.
He not going, you not going. You had anything. Like, come on.
Yeah, they definitely forced
them. The brother
them.
became the younger one role model because, you know, they was out with them all the time. And they like, oh, this is cool. Like, my brother is the best.
Right. Okay. All right. I agree with that. I agree. So 35% reported that they had no role models. And 19% stated that they had role models that were either athletic or in the entertainment industry.
I thought that number would be higher.
The 19%? It may be, because this report isn't from last year, you know what I mean? So it could be a little higher now. This report's actually a few years old, you know? So it may be a little bit higher now, especially with social media being at an all-time high, right? And how realistic is that, though, for a young male? How realistic is it? Here's another part. Role models may be especially important for a minority's individual career development. African Americans' long history of discrimination and the resulting limited career options may have created a divide in self-esteem and lead to lower career goals. See, to me, that makes me think of, you know, having black men that are educating young black males of who they are within this society. And I don't think that's happening. That's why I said we dropped the ball, you know, because we're not preparing them. We know, we're in our 40s. We know what this society has. We know how it views us, and we're not passing that down to them.
But why?
You know, honestly, I think it's remnants from our parents. Our parents came from an era where their approach with racism was keep it on the hush-hush, keep your mouth shut. Even when you experience it, don't say nothing about it, right? Okay, so then my generation came along, and we was kind of the opposite. Like, the hell with that. You understand what I mean? He say something to me, I'm saying something back to him, right? It yielded bad results. You lost your job. You got suspended. You got arrested. So we got a quick lesson as to why our parents was like, don't say nothing. And I think that put fear in us of teaching it to our children, because we didn't want them to lose their job, start getting viewed as a racist. Because when you stand strong as a conscious black person, not even gonna say a male, just a black person, black people will spread away from you like oil and water. They don't want nothing to do with that. You get what I'm saying? So everybody sees it as bad results if you deal with the reality of how this society treats you. And I think somewhere along the line, we became fearful of teaching our children that. You know, we kind of pushed it back to sweeping under the rug, you know, and it hasn't benefited them. No, it hasn't. Matter of fact, it's gotten them killed. It's literally gotten them killed.
That's very good.
Yeah.
That was very good.
I mean, that's just my take. That's my take. You know, there's no research behind that or anything like that. That's just my personal experience and what I believe has happened with us, because we're not telling them. You know what I mean? We're not telling. You know, like I told my son, when you get pulled over by the police, this is the word that I want you to keep in your mind. And this is what I want your behavior to reflect. Cooperation. Don't be the one that acts a fool. Understand who you are in this society. You are written as 3/5 of a human. They've amended a whole bunch of things in the Constitution, but they never amended that. This is why these police are able to kill you and get away with it. You've always been listed in the United States of America as a black person as property. That's it. You know, and we don't have that understanding. We walking around believing this illusion that these white people then gave us, that you some citizen and you get all the rights of a white person. No, you don't. No, you don't. It's not real. It's not real. And when you jump out there with that vibe, because you saw Billy do it, you understand what I mean? And Billy got all up in the cop face and all that. When you do that, you get killed. Somewhere along the line, we're not telling them the truth. We're not telling them the truth. The BBD radio show, we tell the truth.
Shout out
to the best of our ability. And we know it ruffles feathers. But like I always say, we didn't get into this under comfortable conditions. You're not going to get out of it under comfortable conditions. We can no longer keep acting like our children are going into a world that's going to treat them fair. It's not a world that's dominated by white society. You know, if you could somehow flip that and put black people in charge, or put Asians in charge, or Mexicans in charge, I would consider a different approach. But as long as white people dominate this society, your child needs to know his position amongst these people, or it's going to be bad results. It's going to be bad results. It is very sad. So conversations like this, I think, can help young black males. Make him understand that when you get pulled over, you may be dealing with an officer that wants to kill you. You know, you may be, you may not be. But if you're prepared to conduct yourself to the best way you can, and I'm not saying that's even going to stop it, because it's a lot of cases where the people did right, and they still end up getting hurt, wounded, killed, whatever. But I'm just saying it will increase your chances, you know, because they're looking to push your buttons. They're looking to push your buttons. Remember, we as a community of people, we're very emotional people. Okay, racist white people know that. So when they deal with black people, they're trying to get your emotions going haywire. And often we do it.
Most of the time they're successful.
They are very successful at it. You know what I'm saying? They are the masters at it. They literally been doing it for 400 years. So I think those type of conversations have to be given to these young men as well. But what about careers? It's saying that they don't have career goals because they're not seeing black males with careers other than celebrities and entertainers.
Yeah, that's very true.
How did we get there? Not enough careers amongst black men, or we're not letting them know that if you work, that could be a career as well? You know, like, what do you think of when you think of career?
How did we get there?
I think in the decline of people going into the whole trades, like, you don't see that as being your way of getting out of whatever situation you're in. They look at celebrities, athletes, entertainers as, this is what's going to get me out of living in this project area or this lower income area. Right. So you're going to go for what's going to get you comfortable and out that life that you're living, I guess.
Okay. It says, in order to investigate the interrelationships, better identity, social learning, and role models in their lives of at-risk black males, it is important to fully understand what is known as the identity development, especially as it pertains to racial identity and gender identity. For young black males who live in low-income communities, the opportunity to observe a successful black adult male provides a chance for that young person to be exposed to a different type of life that he may not have previously considered possible for him to attain. So that goes into what we're saying. They're not seeing black males with careers within their community.
Yeah, because remember, I mean, back when I was growing up, in my community, like, there were plenty of black-owned businesses.
Okay.
Like, good luck with finding that now.
Oh yeah, so, you're not gonna find a lot of that.
The kids definitely not seeing that like we did coming up. So that's a problem right there, all on its own.
I want to go back to when Daryl Robinson has spoke about tapping into creativity. when I think about that, I don't think it's enough of us like looking at our child and understanding if you have a child that don't want to be an employee.
That's true.
You understand what I mean? Like, I'm self-employed, but when I was growing up, like, my mother wasn't with it. She just was like, this boy quits job after job after job, right? Which I did, right? But I just honestly didn't want to work. At a young age, I was disturbed at what was going on in the work environment. And I was disturbed at every day putting on my top hat and my tap dance shoes and walking around on eggshells every day to keep white people comfortable. I got tired of it. I don't knock it for anybody else that does it, but that was me. I got tired of it. And I had to pursue that on my own. So I'm saying we have our children who are creative like that. And they're like, I don't want to do this. I want to create my own business. Are we tapping into that and supporting that instead of just saying you need to get a job? Because that seems to be the first thing we teach them is get a job.
Right.
Instead of, and everybody's not doing that. Everybody's not saying get a job or go to school. Some people are saying, well, figure out a way to create your own business. What do you like to do? You know what I mean? Like, my son hasn't done it yet, but he's a gamer. So I'm trying to convince him, figure out a way to make money playing that game. You got YouTube and all this stuff out here today. You know, figure out a way to make money. Stop always seeing the only way to get money is to go get a job. Now, I'm not saying do anything illegal, but I'm saying there's other ways to hustle legally, without always thinking, I gotta go get a job, I gotta be locked down for 8 to 10 hours a day.
That's not the norm, though.
No, it's not. That's what I'm saying. It's not the norm.
Because, you know, some kids, you know, are in a position to do that because they do have supportive parents or supportive people around them. But is that the case in most cases?
I don't think that type of creativity is something that a lot of us even consider.
In most cases, the kids are being told to go get a job.
Go get a job, you know, which we're not knocking. You know, job is good, but I'm just saying it's not for everybody.
Yeah, and there are kids that's telling their parents that.
Right.
It's not for everybody.
Right.
And it's not for me, and I want to do this, and the parents are still like, okay, but
you still need a job.
You still have to eat, so
right.
You still have to work. And once they get to work, and it's, I mean,
and it depends on what age they are saying this.
Yeah,
it's different if your child is saying that at 14 versus 21 in your house. Like, well, I don't want to work. Like, well, wait a minute, brother. I think you misunderstood my statements.
No, because you have some kids that have been working since they was 18. And kids are very smart nowadays. So at 18, 19, and 20, they pretty much figured out that this is not going to be the way.
You think they're smarter these days?
I'm just saying they figured out. I'm just saying they figured out. Yes.
Because I don't think they're smarter. I really don't.
They figured out that this 9 to 5 is not going to be able to do what they're going to need it to do.
I definitely get what you're saying. I think a lot of them have drawn that conclusion.
Yes.
And I think they've seen some of the opportunities to be entrepreneurs, say like with the YouTube thing. It's a lot of young folks that have really come up on YouTube.
Yeah.
So imagine the parents who was pushing, you need to get a job, you need to get a job, you need to get a job. The kid fought against it, didn't do it, and then just made $700,000 off of YouTube. Your parents ain't never made that in their life. You know what I mean?
And just to go back to your question, when you said, do I think they smarter? I believe they have a whole lot more distractions than what we had.
They've definitely been dumbed down through the education system. I mean, have you seen the way they do math today? It's insanity. It is not math. I don't know what it is.
Gosh.
It's some long drawn out stuff. They don't do simple division no more. They do some other crazy stuff.
Yeah.
They dumbing them down. Dumbing them down.
They dumbing them down.
Okay, so let's look at identity development. A person's identity is shaped and defined by such questions as what matters to a person, what goals does a person decide to pursue, how does a person want others to think of them, what does a person truly believe in, what guides a person's actions, and what are the important values. So this is how identity development starts. Goals, what other people think of you, right? What do you believe in? actions. Where are they deriving all this from? Parents? Social media? Where are they getting this?
Nowadays, I don't know.
It says the development of a person's identity takes place in an interpersonal context in which an individual figures to who they are and who they are not by comparing themselves to others in their social setting. So there's our answer right there. This comparison to others helps each individual to cope with goals and values they have in common with the people in their culture, as well as to determine and contrast what is unique about them as an individual. It is becoming increasingly clear that a person's culture plays a central role in their identity development. A person's perception of their society's share, cultural beliefs, goals, and attitudes collectively impacts a person's identity by either having them adopt those goals or by having them resist and reject them as a part of their own identity. All right, so it just explained what we was just trying to get at here, right? So it's got a lot to do with comparing themselves to other people. So they're looking at other people and deciding what they will accept, what they will reject. So if you take, you know, the local drug dealers or gang members, the youth are looking at those people and deciding when they compare themselves to them, they would much rather be in their position. What is that all about?
Just, I don't know.
No answers?
No clue.
I think it has to do with male companionship. You understand what I mean? Male bonding. Like boys need to bond. So sports does well with that. But in the neighborhood, they end up bonding with, you know, gang members or the lifestyle of the drug dealer, so forth and so on.
Makes sense.
Right? That's what comes to my mind when I think about it. Because it says it's becoming increasingly clear that a person's culture plays a central role in their identity development. So if this is the culture that they're surrounded by, that they're in, I mean, it's a good chance that they could see that as the way of getting money, you know, versus what if you lived in a community where it was a bunch of scientists and, you know, I don't know, people with trades and things like that. Then that might be a culture that makes them want to gravitate towards that.
Understandable.
What about the role of money? What about the role of money? And what I mean is, like when we was younger, it was about getting a good job with decent pay. Whereas the youngins today, like they want big money. Like they don't want
super quick.
They super quick.
Yeah.
Like they don't want no, you know, $60,000 a year. Like, you know, that's cool for us, right? But they like, I don't want that. You know, I'm trying to, you know, be a millionaire like tomorrow. Right?
Even tomorrow.
Yeah. Yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
So how much is that playing a role in making them want to get involved with things that they know yields those type of numbers?
It's playing a big role.
You know what I mean? When you watching everybody on social media, all your celebrities and entertainers, and they riding in fancy cars and they iced out.
When they come through with their fancy cars and get out.
First thing you say is, I want to do what they doing.
Right. How do I get that money? Right.
Every time you see them, they have on their fancy clothes. So that's what they've been showing.
So money's playing a part in this.
Major
part. They don't even want basic money, or at least, you know, what they see as basic money. Huh?
They don't want the 9 to 5 money.
I don't think they do.
That's the basic.
Even if the 9 to 5 is paying some good money, I don't think they want it.
That's just doing too much work, though.
Yeah.
I don't think they want it.
Yeah, the 9 to 5 is not. Yeah, it's not paying enough quick enough.
Yeah, and I think they realize that. You know, they don't even want that. You know, like I said, if it's going to be an entrepreneur level, I get it. You know, be an entrepreneur. But you're still going to have a job to kind of, you know, pay for the things that you need to do to set up your, you know, your little business.
Kids are definitely looking at the money now. When my youngest daughter got her first job or whatever, and was making what she was making, like that was like, to me, I was looking at it like, this don't make no sense. Like, there are grown people out here who have to work for what she's working for now.
And
this
she's
is her
a child.
first job.
Right.
And she's a child. But after working 2 weeks, the first thing she did come to me like, I'm gonna have to put in an application somewhere else. That place over there paying $14 an hour. And
She wanted more money already.
Looking at her
But that's
like,
how it is. Like, you constantly striving for more and more and more and more. Like, there's never enough when it comes to like how much money you're making, especially in this day and age, because there's so much that you want. There's so much that you want to do.
Yes.
You see people going on vacations. You see people buying clothes, jewelry, cars. Everything is being thrown at you, and it's like you have to constantly strive to get more and more and more.
Right.
Is that keeping up with the Jones?
Of course.
Oh, okay. All right.
Especially when social media comes into play, when you see everybody, you know, doing anything that you want to do.
Right.
I'm still trying to figure out how everybody's going on vacation, and I'm still.
I tell you, you ain't the only one.
I work 40 every week, and I ain't been nowhere in how
You ain't the only one.
That was a good one.
Social media is the vacation
I'm trying to
capital.
Listen, not to throw no shade, but people that got 3, 4 kids, 5 kids, single parents, and
right
in the Dominican Republic, and I'm sitting there.
Right. Stay on cruises.
I'm trying to figure it out.
They stay on cruises.
Yeah.
Stay in Jamaica, the Bahamas. They all over the place.
I don't understand it.
I just say, I guess they got more money than me. I can't even get a passport. You know what I mean? What's going on? All right, so what about the role of gender identity? I'll read this quick. In considering identity for African American male adolescents, it is very important to also consider the role that masculine identity development has in the overall identity development process. This is especially important for African American males, since many of them have been raised in households without the presence of a male parental figure. Okay, so role of gender identity. I don't think this is necessarily referring to heterosexual or homosexual. I think it's referring to more of like what I said, how emotionally they deal with situations. Because he could be heterosexual, but when you watch him in the midst of a situation, he may handle it the way like a woman would handle it, which could be not working in his benefit as a young male. Like I said, becoming a little bit too more emotional than what they should be. Because when you're dealing with the enemy, they're looking for your emotions to go crazy. So they can use that as the stepping stone to say, this is why we fired you. This is why we suspended you. This is why we tased you. This is why we shot you. Right? Copy. Is that last segment, Nate?
You have one more after this one?
Copy. But yeah, I think it's, I take it at least for being more along those lines. But I'll finish reading. Many argue that as a result of the interactions between mother and child during infancy, boys develop a feminine pole, and that if boys are going to eventually be able to individuate from their mother as their male identity develops, that will require to actively and physically reject their feminine identifications. So there it is right there. Right. See, they're naturally going to take on some feminine roles and qualities because they've only been up underneath their mother. Right. And at some point, they're going to have to reject that. In order for boys to develop their masculine identity, male adolescents have to first disidentify from their mothers in order to counter-identify with their fathers, if the process of developing their own male identity was going to be able to move forward. An African-American adolescent male who does not have a male parental figure living in the household, however, is going to find it difficult, if not impossible, to make the separation that is needed.
I was about to say, how are they supposed to do that without that male figure?
And that's what I'm saying. Outside, they're doing it by joining gangs. All right, stay with us. We're going on our next break. We'll finish this up. Yeah, I think they're identifying with the gangs. That's what they're
responsibility for this. I didn't say responsibility. I said accountability. We can't. Everybody can't take accountability. You're not accountable to the body of Christ. No, I'm not accountable to. No, are you accountable to the body of Christ? To the body that God assigns me part of. The devil is a lie. So my elbow is not accountable to my kneecap. So my elbow is accountable to my kneecap, or is it accountable to my leg?
So if you on the other side of the world and you see something happening to somebody spiritually, you don't stop.
I can pray for them. So there's the level of accountability for stuff everybody. You're not saying that. That is what I said. You're not saying that. That is exactly what I'm saying. What did Lisa say? Again, you're arguing your point. No listening. This is the problem that we have in the church. We get so busy arguing our points. Nobody's assigning it to y'all. I said we, as a body, all of us, everybody that associate themselves as a disciple to Christ, we have to take a responsibility. I heard a wise person say this, and y'all might not call him wise, but somebody posted on Facebook.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Every time it said African American, I was just going to say black. Welcome back to the Black by the Band radio show. Okay, so we're in our last segment. We're going to close this out. So we was talking about the role of gender identity, and that the young black male at some point has to disidentify. Now let me back up. The young black male who's grown up in a household without a male figure at some point has to disidentify from the feminine role or qualities that he gained from being up underneath his mother at some point. So we know that this is happening, but it may not be happening in the right way. They might disidentify by identifying their masculine through gangs, through drug dealers, you know. Oh, how about this? What about identifying with your masculine side by dealing with a bunch of young girls? Because a lot of young boys do that. Really? And that definitely makes them feel more manly. Yeah, they feel more manly. The more females they get to dealing with, you know, you don't think that does that for them?
I understand it. I don't agree with it, but
right. I'm just saying these are some of the areas that I think they are disidentifying from their mother. You know what I mean? So now he's that dude. You know, he's 22 and you know, running through them or whatever. You know, knocking a few of them down, whatever they call it.
Terrible.
So, but that's interesting though. That is very interesting because that fits right along with what I was saying about the emotions. You know what I mean? So when you see these young boys being emotional, like you think of arguing, it's more feminine than masculine. You know what I mean? Like nobody's surprised, you know, that a woman may want to argue with something. And I'm not downing women. I'm just saying that's more along a woman's wheelhouse. But you got young men today that are sitting, arguing, fuss with you all day, like women. You know what I mean? And that's why when it happens with grown men, you'll hear the grown man say, look, young man, I ain't gonna sit here and argue with you all day. You know, you go your way, I go my way. Because we've grown into our masculine identity and disidentified with some of these feminine characteristics, you know what I mean? Hollering and screaming and fussing. And that seems to be their approach when they encounter certain circumstances, certain situations. All right, so the last part here is the role of ethnicity. Another key component of identity development for African American males that is essential to consider is the role of ethnicity. At certain stages of their lives, the identity development of black males progresses and evolves solely as a result of their personal experiences and is not affected or influenced by issues surrounding their ethnicity. There are other times, however, where the reality that they are a member of a group that has its own traditions and values, which include living in an environment that is dominated by whites and having a long history of discrimination, plays a significant, if not dominant, role in their identity development. So what that basically means is it has to be a black man that they identify with. It's not going to help them as young black males to identify with a male from another race, whether it's a white male, like I said, Asian, Indian, Mexican, whatever, because only another black male can teach you of what your life has in store for you, what you're going to face. A white man can't do that. He can't do that. A Mexican can't do that. An Asian can't do that. Only the black man can tell you about your plight that you're going to have as a black male, as you grow into a black male. So I agree with that. What do you ladies think?
I definitely agree. Totally.
Which goes back to what I was saying about us dropping the ball. because that's our job.
Definitely.
That's our job. And to the brothers out there, we got to do better. It's as simple as that.
Definitely.
You know, like, we can't just look at our own personal situation. We got to try to do better overall with our young black males. Now, I'll play the devil's advocate here, right? The problem with that is these young lions are so wild that a lot of black men are scared to say something. Can lose your life. They don't have the respect for elders that we had.
Right.
If our elders rolled up on us, whatever they said, we just be like, all right, that's cool, Mr. Johnson. You know, even if we thought what he was saying was some bullshit, you know what I mean? But we wasn't gonna say it to him. Oh, they not like that today. You can roll up on them young boys if you want. You know, they're messing around. Look, you need to mind your business. You know what I mean? Don't worry about what we doing. You know, like they're very, very aggressive. You know, I'll give you a personal situation. Last month, I'm leaving out of a neighborhood and I seen some young boys out there. And you know, I was in the streets when I was younger, so I know the whole vibe of what was going on. I could see how pumped up they was. I could see each of them showing each other the phone, like, look what he texts, you know, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could tell they was getting riled up. There was about 5 or 6 of them, right? 2 of them went walking off real fast. And I'm like, oh, man. Like, these young boys about to get in trouble. You know what I mean? What do I do as a black male? It's like 12:30 at night. You know what I'm saying? So I sat and I thought, because I want to say something to them, but it has to be done in a way where they're not going to want to try to come at me, right? So I thought, so then finally I drove up on them. I rolled the window down. I'm like, what's up, young man? They turned around like, what's up? I said, listen, I'm just telling y'all as an older black man, old enough to be your father. I don't know what y'all got going on, but I can tell, see, and feel that y'all about to get in some trouble. Y'all need to rethink whatever it is y'all about to do and be safe out here, because they got room for you. And the one said, they got room for us. I said, yes, in jail. They got room for you. And they build them specifically for you. Y'all take care, enjoy your evening, and be safe. And you know what the one ended up saying? He's like, thank you, sir.
Don't you think all it takes is that one kind of conversation? It don't have to be like some condescending comment that you made to them, or you know, to make them feel some type of way, but it just takes that one person to say something that may change.
I took that risk. I took the risk. It was that important to me. You know what I mean? And it worked out. I don't know what they went and did, but I'm gonna tell you, I ran into the one young boy about 3 weeks later, and he's now on probation. So something happened. That's what I mean. But anyway, we're gonna wrap it up. Thanks for everybody tuning in with us with the Black by the Man radio show. Great discussion today. I hope it stimulated some thought processes in people. And as usual, I want to thank my team, my co-host, the lovely Miss Janice. Thank you, Miss Janice. And also our awesome team member, Miss Samantha Glam by Sam Dennis. And as usual, I'm your host, Brother Mike. Come back with us next Monday. We'll be back with another exciting show. And as I always say, man, I catch you on the flip side. That's the black side. Peace. Word is bone.
Black by Demand radio show.
2 years ago. If you broke that bike and it don't work, that's on you, brother. I suggest you get that toolkit out back and then start working with it, right? Yeah. So my son's looking at me like, wow. And I broke down to him how we had got fixing flat tires down to a science. You know what I mean? Sticking the two